All right, here we are back for another awesome episode of On the Bench with Beeks. This is the dirty 30th episode of OTBWB. I am your host that likes to eat toast, Cody Beekman. And with me as always, Keats Flatlander Xander.
Hello, everyone.
And I've got Feed the Needy Beady.
How's it going, everybody?
And I've got Taco Bell Hot Sauce Ross Bormeyer.
Hello.
And today we are joined by an incredible guest, Mr. Pierce Grandchamp, a local sled hockey player. Pierce, say what's up to the fine people out there.
What's up? Thanks for having me, guys.
Oh, no, thank you so much for being on. We're going to have a great show, and so we're going to roll right into it. Guess what, everybody? Hockey Day in History is back, everyone.
Woo!
So, if you guys listen to us, have ever listened to us before with a Hockey Day in History, we'd like our guest to kick us off. So, Pierce, what do you got for us today, buddy?
Today in hockey history, the Edmonton Oilers retired Wayne Gretzky's sweater.
Ooh, the great one going up in the rafters. That's a good pick right there. I'll tell you what. I know Daniel's just loving that one.
Yeah, that's a great choice. I mean, easy pick. Only player in the NHL to have his number retired league-wide.
Yeah, that's true. And when you kind of think about that, don't you think maybe Mario Lemieux should be one of those?
I do.
I mean, it is like pretty unsung that, it's kind of like an unspoken rule that nobody wears 66, but I mean, I kind of feel like at this point, might as well just make it in stone.
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
Sorry, we forgot this is an audio thing. We're nodding.
That was that was some real intellectual fodder there, boys. I really enjoyed it. All right.
Not so much in stone, but yeah, in felt and fabrics and all of that. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. in fabrics. That's actually a good point. All right,
linens.
All right. This is already going off the rails. First Hockey Day history in a long time, and we're always just already just like running off the rails. All right, Ross, what do you got for us?
Well, I've got on September 29th in 1999, the Atlanta Thrashers name Kelly Buchberger, my bad, as the first captain in franchise history. The move came 3 days before the team's inaugural game.
God, do you guys remember Kelly Buchberger? Oh my!
That's a good trivia question right there.
That is really good. I mean,
yeah, who was
the first captain of the Thrashers? Oh, clearly Buchberger.
Yeah, right. That's
the name that comes to mind.
First one, easily. All right, Daniel, what do you got, bud?
So for me, I'm going back to 1960, and on October 1st of that year, in the only All-Star game appearance that he ever had in his career, player Andy Hebington scored the first ever shorthanded game-winning goal in All-Star history. The All-Stars defeated the Stanley Cup champion Montreal Canadiens by a 2-1 margin, which is a cool little piece of history in itself, because back then you had, I think if I'm not mistaken, the previous Cup champion play like a group of all-stars.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's kind of neat.
I mean, it's one thing to have like a shorthanded goal in an all-star game, but for it to be the game winner as well is just absolutely ridiculous. And I mean, and especially with an all-star game, for it to only be 2-1.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, especially, you know, in our generation where games are like 14-13 or, well, when they were still doing just, you know, East versus West or World versus North America. So that's interesting in all of it. I mean, it's ridiculous, but yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. Keats?
Saving best for last, huh?
Oh, well, I'm actually going last, so you're totally right.
out of the hosts, or co-hosts, I should say. All right, we're going to go to October 2nd of 1999. Boston's Ray Bork became the first goal-scoring defenseman in NHL history when his 386th career goal moved him one ahead of Paul Coffey's. The milestone came in a 3-1 Bruins loss to the visiting Carolina Hurricanes.
Wow, Ray Bork. I mean, those are huge names by their own rights. I mean, Paul Coffey and Ray Bork. So, to even sniff at Paul Coffey's record and to break it in relatively early part of his career is pretty huge.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
So, hey, congratulations to Ray back in the 90s.
and what a fitting way for him to break that record, because most of his career he's tracking down these milestones but always coming up short in some way.
Yeah,
Yep.
oh yeah.
And it's just another example of something in his career like that too.
Absolutely.
Oh, well said.
Broke the record, lost.
Right? Yeah, so true, so true. All right, so I'm going to take it all the way back to 1933.
Whoa.
33.
September 30th of 1993, at the NHL Board of Governors meeting, it was decided that 2 referees would henceforth be used for each game instead of 1 referee and 1 linesman. This system lasted 5 years before it went back to 1 and 1 linesman.
Huh.
Interesting.
I wonder why it failed.
I don't, because I mean, when you look at it now, you always have 2 referees and 2 linesmen now.
Yeah, it just continued to add more. So it's weird that they're like, this is good for it. Never mind.
No, yeah. Well, we tried it, so we're done.
I mean, there's been so many rules implemented, not only with like referees, but like
Oh God, yeah.
over the goalie thing, the behind the net thing. Like I remember when that first came out, I was like, this is the dumbest thing ever. But now, like you're watching it, it's like it doesn't even bother me. I don't even think about it anymore.
And think about going back to the 2-line pass days.
Oh yeah,
God.
that's right.
Or
Yeah.
even with just officiating now, there's like a floating referee almost, where they're watching from the stands to make sure that players they think should go into concussion protocol go into concussion protocol.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
that's like part of the officiating crew now too.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Crazy
We've
times.
come a long way since 1933. I
Sure
gotta
have.
say.
But now we're in 2020.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, honestly, I can't speak for you guys, but I am so fucking excited to get out of 2020. That is, if I do, like you never know what can happen.
This too shall pass.
Season 6, Episode 6, Futurama. On that intro, it says, "Do not go to 2020." I'm not even kidding you.
Oh God. All right, so let's move on. I mean, obviously, we've got Stanley Cup Finals going on right now, so I wanna gauge everybody's ideas on where we're gonna who's. Jesus Christ, Cody, learn to talk, dude. No, it's so yeah, we're gonna gauge everybody's idea on who's gonna come out with the cup. I'm gonna start with you, Pierce. Pierce, have you been watching any of the Stanley Cup Finals or what, bud?
Definitely quarantined, and hockey. I think it's kind of the only thing keeping me sane.
Amen.
I'm saying the Lightning take away the cup, just because to run deep in the playoffs, you have to have goaltending, and Vasilevsky is just killing it. Plus, I can't root for the Stars since they knocked out my Avs.
Attaboy. That's I think that's actually a huge sentiment with all of us right now. Well, except for maybe Daniel. Daniel's
I've got
just
a different reason though.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll find out. But yeah, I feel you there. But I mean, that was a heartbreaking Game 7 for the Avs, and I'm realistically now a Tampa Bay Lightning fan. But all right. But so how many games do you think this one's gonna go, Pierce?
Let's see. Probably, I don't know. I'm a sucker for Game 7, so let's go Game 7.
Get those Game 7 dramatics, man. Absolutely. I always kind of feel that's the way like Stanley Cup Finals need to go. I was actually kind of really bummed about last year how the Blues just took what it was. Oh no, it's still Game 7. I don't know. What am I thinking about? I'm kind of high right now. No, I'm just kidding. I'm a little messed up. Anyways, sweet man. That's great reason. So I'm gonna kick it on over to Ross here. Ross, what do you think there, bud?
Well, yeah, you're not the only one. I'm a Tampa Bay Lightning fan for yeah,
Obvious reason.
obvious reasons. I mean, Bogosian's from my friend's like birth town. Like seeing him actually play like the old Bogo.
Bogo.
But yeah, he deserves a cup. I mean, Stamkos deserves a cup. The team's playing lights out.
Which actually scored his first goal in the game coming back.
Oh yeah, we witnessed
First
it.
period.
Yep.
That was pretty sweet.
But yeah, no. And Pierce is right. I mean, you can only, do so much with Hudobin. Like honestly, I think it's his time to break. I mean, you've got Vasilevsky in net, and he's always played lights out hockey.
And I do want to mention that they do have Curtis McElhinney in the
backup slot.
in the backup slot, and he's not a slouch.
Oh,
You
no.
know, he doesn't get a lot of praise or anything, especially because he's been tossed around lately. But I mean, Curtis could come in there and definitely steal a game or two if he needs to.
Oh yeah, easily.
So how many games you saying?
Oh God. Wait, this one's looking right now. I'm saying probably 5, max 6 to get
Ooh.
it. Yeah.
Oh, that's bold.
Yeah.
It's a bold strategy, Cott. Let's see how it works out for him. All right, Daniel, what do you got there, bud?
I agree with the rest of my esteemed colleagues here.
Oh, absolutely.
I believe Tampa Bay is going to take it. And Curtis McElhinney's a great guy to root for if you're looking for any reason to have a player to get behind this season. There's a journeyman right there.
Oh,
that
yeah.
guy's been through so many leagues, so many teams, and great for him to be such a positive outlook kind of player to take on this opportunity. And what do you know? He's in the finals. So good for him. He deserves that, similar to like Stamkos and other players. I'm just glad Stamkos is playing.
Yeah.
I don't think he cares how he gets a Stanley Cup, but I know he wants to be the captain and feel like he's contributing. So
especially coming in after the Cavalier and Marty St. Louis generation, you kind of being the next huge player in coming into that role, you kind of want to just keep continuing that ideal of like fantastic Tampa Bay Lightning hockey and Tampa Bay Lightning captains.
Yeah, it's a really interesting observation how you have like Yager and Lemieux in Pittsburgh, and then later on, right near the tail end of them leaving that franchise, you get Malkin and Crosby come in. And in Tampa Bay, you had St. Louis and LeCavalier, and when they sunset, you get people like Stamkos and Kucherov coming in.
Oh, yeah.
And like those Art Ross battles between those two franchises have been going back and forth for a while. So there's a lot of talent in Tampa Bay, top to bottom. I'm wearing a Stars jersey because I really like Rick Bowness, the coach for the Stars. I think he's an amazing leader, and he's been an assistant with the Canucks before, but he's been to the finals with a few different franchises. In fact, he used to be the assistant coach for the Lightning, and he's credited with turning Victor Hedman into the defenseman he is today.
Oh, wow.
So it's kind of interesting. Even John Cooper is like, dude, this guy's been in the league for like 40 plus years straight. I learned from him coming in as the head coach when he was my assistant.
Oh.
And so it's kind of like you have these like tales you can find on both sides to get really behind. But everyone that talks about Rick talks about how happy they are that he's finally here again in the finals as the head coach at the helm. And I'm finding it really hard to root against that story above all the other players that I feel like deserve it. In a way, I feel like he deserves it because he's responsible for those players, us thinking they deserve it. So,
Right.
yeah.
Oh, nice. Keitzer?
Well, guys, I'll be straight honest with you. I watched 0 of these games. And it's not because I don't want to watch them, but,
Life
decided to do different things. But besides that, screw Dallas, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and we
My
all,
man.
You're truly speaking to the hearts of Colorado Avalanche and Vegas fans right now.
and we
honestly.
and we don't have to get into details why we're saying that, right? It's just there's a little bit of a bitterness here in Colorado.
Well, yeah.
But hey, man, both teams are great. Watching when Dallas played Avs, I mean, they were no team to sleep on, and obviously they proved it. Same with Tampa Bay. I'll be honest with you, really did not expect Tampa Bay to be here right now.
It's 2020, man.
I thought that they'd be kicked out way earlier. And,
Oh yeah.
But that being said, man, I'll go for Tampa Bay for our bitter reasons.
Of course.
And I'll say Game 7 because, like I said, both teams watching them when the Avs were still in the playoffs. I think both of them. It's just going to be one of those back and forth type of situations again.
Big momentum swings,
Yep.
and just like crazy dramatic.
Yeah, and you guys mentioned him, Vasilevsky, man. Fuck.
It's pretty good, eh?
He's strong in net, man, and he really knows when to show up. So yeah, and like you know what? I'm just gonna go Tampa in 7 as well. I'm gonna join the group. For my own personal reasons. Fuck the Dallas Stars right now. I just, to be completely honest with you, I didn't really have much faith in Tampa until Stammer came back. I mean, obviously they've been they really haven't missed him way too much. I mean, especially with Braden Point stepping up, and I mean Andre Palat coming in and getting back into his form that he was about like 4 years ago, where he was sitting on that top line and just throwing the puck in at will, and he's shown flashes of his old self. So it's great that they have players willing to stand up, to step up. And now, I mean, with Stammer coming in and looking like he didn't even miss 4 months.
No.
So
not at all.
it's kind of like you really it's up to Dallas to stop a lot of these like heavy machine guns that Tampa Bay has on their bench. And I mean, Hedman's still been playing just fucking incredible. So I mean, it's really Tampa's theirs to win, and it's theirs to lose at this point. I gotta say. So we'll see here in 4 short games.
Yep.
Yeah, and hey, Kenny, if you're listening, if you guys pull it off, I will get me a Vasilevsky jersey. We'll throw it on.
Oh yeah,
on the Insta or something.
I'll get me a Victor Hedman jersey too.
No. We'll order them together.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully we can get a deal or something.
Buy one, get one half off.
Fuck,
wink,
I hope.
wink.
2 for 1 or something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll get a BOGO.
Yeah. So yeah, Kenny, if you're out there, I know you loved the last shout out we gave you, so we're gonna give you another one. You might like this one a little bit better. Anyways. Just before we get into Pierce, I do want to say congratulations to Connor Hellebuck for the Vezina Trophy, Leon Draisaitl for the Ted Lindsay and the Hart Memorial Award. Oh, geez. And then we also have Roman Yossi as the Norris Trophy winner, and then we have Cale Makar as the Calder. And so congratulations to them. So, let's talk about it. Guys, hit us up on Instagram and Facebook and complain or argue or agree with us. Anything you want.
I've heard there's been some bitterness on some of them, so
a little bit, maybe a little bit of bitterness coming from the Hockey Minute, just a little bit. Brandon,
those damn Canadians.
Brandon?
Never fails.
I'm sorry, Brandon. I'm sorry. We had to mention it, but we love you guys. So, but
And isn't Draisaitl the first German-born player to win the Ted Lindsay?
You might be right. We'll definitely have to look that up.
Yeah, because
that would be, who else would it be?
Yeah,
Wouldn't
Michael
be-
Renberg.
No.
I'm like trying to think of good German players.
I mean, Uwe Krupp, but he'd be quicker to win the Norris than the Ted Lindsay. Look it up.
no, all right.
Consult the Oracle.
Consult. the
All
Oracle.
right. Anyways, Pierce, thank you so much for being on the show again. We're really excited about this. So, if you haven't listened to our show before, we really love digging into getting new perspectives on hockey, and we want to hear about yours. So, can we start it out at the very, very beginning? Let us know a little bit about your background, bud.
Yeah. So this will be my 19th season. Started way back. There was a camp, still a camp. It's wheelchair sports camp. Basically, there's 4 different groups made up of people with physical disabilities. And they just throw you in all sorts of different sports, and you go there, make friends, and skated for the first time back in 2001. Fell in love with it, and then I was one of the first kids to take part in the Colorado Sled Hockey youth team, which, interesting fact, we were the first youth team in the nation to be founded.
Oh, that's really cool. How'd you find? Well, did you just find out about the team through the camp?
Yeah, actually, the guy who started it all, Corey Fairbanks, came to the camp and set up some ice time just to recruit kids, because he figured that was going to be the way to carry the sport forward. And it was just like an hour-long try sled hockey clinic, and been hooked ever since.
That's really cool, man. And so tell us about, like the first kind of, the baby, like, the baby steps of the association and stuff. And I mean, and just tell us, how going through that was.
Yeah, I mean, I was fortunate that I don't remember a lot. I just, like, of the admin side, I just know that all they cared about was getting me and some friends I've grown up with just on the ice and playing. Really fortunate to have those role models around me, and fierce advocates of making sure us youth could play.
No, that's huge. I mean, having a lot of people in your corner like that, especially with something that's so new, it's gotta feel kind of good, yeah.
Yeah, no, it was great. I remember first time we had a practice with the adult team. We came off the ice, and all we had was bicycle helmets to start, because they were still working on funding. And I had chipped up a question, and I was like, "Are we gonna get actual helmets?" And I remember everyone laughing, like, "Yeah, that's gonna happen. We just gotta get the donations."
Oh, you're like, hey, can we get some actual gear in here? And what would you guys do? Just mainly just benefits, or what kind of pushed that forward for you guys?
In terms of getting gear.
Yeah, and just funding and finding ice time and stuff like that. Was it more just we'll buy out a couple hours of a rink, or like anything like that, and finding gear was probably the worst part, just because it's kind of more.
From the beginning, the Avalanche have been great about. We've been involved with them since 95, 96, and they've basically funded our ice time every year since then. I remember at the beginning, the ice rinks were we didn't have a home rink, so we played a lot at World Arena, basically anywhere we could get ice. And I was lucky that my dad would just drive me everywhere.
Oh yeah.
And but as far as gear goes, we really depended on other able-bodied teams to donate their used gear. And then as far as sleds go, there's lots of the Daniels Fund will help you afford gear, but we really do depend on the individual contributions for sure.
Oh wow! So that's so the Avs have just been in your corner the entire time. That's really cool. Did you ever get to meet any of the players, or get a skate with them ever?
Oh yeah, Like tons of times, and I'm way lucky. I think my favorites. Oh man, that's hard. Lyles is really great. He was on a break the ice a few times. Never skated with Sakic, but he's always like the most humble dude. Just lots of different opportunities to meet players. Been lucky for sure.
You ever try to lay one of them out?
Definitely tried to like stick handle, and those dudes are so fast that it's like they can put it under like 3 different sleds before you even know where the puck is.
Oh man.
That's great.
I think I'm a really competitive guy, so I could definitely see myself getting like real pissed and just taking a run at one of them, just like you bastard, even though it's like the Colorado Avalanche, I'd still like want to try to maybe cut an angle off or something.
Hey Varley, is that really a Cat Eyes official?
Yeah, just poke your stick through it. Yeah, see if it pokes him in the face. One question I want to ask you is, were you always into hockey, or did that kind of just pop up later in your life, or like how'd you really get involved in hockey itself?
Good question. So elementary school, I had this friend who we would hang out in his cul-de-sac, and they would play street hockey. And it was really difficult for me to get involved. And then he was in his own league, and I was just like, man, I'm like really pissed that I can't play hockey right now. And so it was like I talked with my dad about it, and like we really there wasn't really a good option until like months later that summer. Wheelchair sports camp came around. And then since then, I've been in love with hockey. And I think one of the things that really ignited my passion was just watching the old school Avs versus Red Wings games on TV. Plus,
That'll get you into hockey for sure. Those were some great times. And Pierce, you touched on something I was going to ask you about too, because you said once you finally got on the ice at the opportunity, you fell in love with it right away. And I'm curious what you mean by that, because when I step on the ice or get to play, there's certain sounds on the ice that you can't find anywhere else that just make me feel like I'm at home.
Oh yeah.
My problems, for me, hockey's like a mental thing too. It like helps me forget what's going on outside, and that came with time. I'm curious, like kind of what made you fall in love with it when you got on the ice, and what do you love about it now?
Oh, good question.
The first thing that made me fall in love with it was the fact that the environment was disability led. And by that, I mean, there was people in chairs like me with physical disabilities that were pushing me to get better from the moment I got on the ice. And it wasn't like they were carrying me. It was them saying that I have the ability to get better. And I had never been in an environment where I was challenged and yet supported. A lot of the time with a disability, you're pitied.
Yeah, fully agree.
So that was number one for me. Plus, like the hitting, you can't beat that.
That's true.
Agreed on that, Pierce. Agreed on that, man. That was one of my favorite parts when I played hockey too. Just wrecking some dude. And honestly, I wish I could be out on the ice with you now, man. But go on. Yeah, I just wanted to interject for a second there.
No, Cody, I still think you could come get in a sled anytime.
Dude, as long as you're there with me, bud, I'm there. I'm totally there.
Hey, October 23rd, Ice Ranch, 8:15 to 9:15. We got to try hockey. Come out and get in a sled.
Oh wow, that's awesome, man. Oh sweet. Ooh, I got the goosebumps, man. Get back on the ice. So no, yeah, continue. So I mean, obviously, that's is there anything else that like back in the day where that you remembered that really made you love it, other than like the incredible support?
Yeah, I mean that was the main thing. Right now, I think the second part of that question is what makes me love the game now. And it's the giving back piece. I've been a coach since I was 18. Actually, Coach Lazon, he's passed away since a few years ago. He got me into coaching, and through that, you can really connect with youth players, and that's like one of the main motivations to get to the rink, especially with an early practice slot right now, is just that peer support aspect.
Oh man, I love that.
That is awesome.
I mean, through what you've talked about too, you can tell that you enjoy that because you're giving back in a way that helps you get started in it, and you're that peer-to-peer support for those people, like you said, that you enjoyed when you were getting into it. And I also picked up from what you were talking about how you had the privilege of having your dad that would drive you everywhere to help out with going to the ice times. And we have the privilege of living in a city that has a professional hockey team that can fund the ice that you get, or at least support that. So I'm curious, Pierce, let's pretend the Avalanche didn't exist here and that we don't all have the parents to help us drive around the rinks. What are ways that you would like to see the hockey community lend that support for you guys to continue the work that you guys are doing?
That is a great question. I think that first starts with building an accessible, inclusive rink, to ensure that if someone with a sled does show up, that they are welcomed and that they would have the supports there to skate. As far as the transportation side goes, I would love to see the state support people with disabilities and their transportation to hockey under, like, they need it for mental health or they need it for rehabilitation or just physical fitness. I think that would really get more people involved and bridge some gaps in obesity rates and suicide rates and other things like that that are definitely increased in the disabled population.
I couldn't agree with you more, Pierce, because there's been so many times. Well, I was lucky enough to be graced by Dog Nation, and I know about Dog Nation. They've helped you out too, and so I've people are a little more lucky or dealt a better card to be able to have this transportation. But from what I've seen and from the people that I've talked to, transportation is probably one of the biggest hindrances for people living with disabilities and like wheelchairs and stuff. So to be completely honest with you, I couldn't agree with you more on that. I mean, especially to go out and do something like play hockey or do something that helps the mind and the body at the same time. I mean, it is definitely something I think the state legislature and I mean just local government should really kind of take a look at. So that was an incredible point right there. I fully 100% agree with you there, bud.
Yeah, well said, Pierce. And the other thing we should make sure to mention is, and because Dog Nation was brought up, and because one of those solutions we think is a good idea is to build an all-inclusive rink. That is one of the missions of Dog Nation right now, is to be fundraising for building a 3-sheet all-inclusive rink. So it's good to see that there's foundations like Dog Nation out there, but that will help Colorado, not the nation. And we need more places like Dog Nation to be able to do it in other places. So
And that
I like your answer a lot.
and that might, really put it on the map and maybe motivate other places, not only Colorado,
Be a stepping
like
stone.
California or who knows, to motivate and be like, holy crap, like, why didn't we do this, 5 years ago or whatever the case may be, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, just with... I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I'm getting really stoked. I'm loving this conversation. I really am. I mean, it would even help players like Drew Garza, who we had on First You See It, Then You Don't. I mean, to even accommodate, blind hockey players as well. Not just sled hockey teams, but I mean, everybody in hockey. So, yeah, love that answer, Pierce. It's incredible. And how can... what would you say what we can do to help, like what regular people can help with, just maybe getting this done?
Yeah. So I just want to go back and absolutely second what you said about Dog Nation. They're great. They helped me out when my sled got stolen, so that I could get back on the ice and coach. And I think where an able-bodied team could come in is, one, just getting involved with your local sled hockey team. There's always a need for volunteers, whether it's pushers or if you want to be a student coach and learn how to adapt drills, or we even have like student refs that come and just kind of practice during our scrimmages. I think that involvement gets the conversation going of what kind of support could we give you at the rink and outside of the rink. Organizations obviously differ. We talked about it in terms of support and distance. So maybe there's some solutions with your local community, and that only happens by mixing organizations.
No, absolutely. And and I mean, obviously, Dog Nation has a website. I mean, USA Paralympians have websites. Do you guys, I mean, just for like Colorado leagues, do you guys have places where people can go that we can, kind of push out there?
Yeah, we on coloradosledhockey.org. And then we are also on Facebook, where we post a lot of our events, which would look like clinics or games.
Sweet. And all right, so let's get in. Let's get into the actual play. I mean, so can you explain to how kind of like the league goes? How many teams or tournaments or how games normally go? Can you kind of like give us a real strong idea about what gameplay and league play is like?
Yeah, definitely. So we have a team that competes in the Midwest Sled Hockey League. They are also part of our Warrior Avs. So that's a team up in Monument that's made up of just disabled veterans, to give them that brotherhood, and they could talk about how that has impacted their rehabilitation.
Oh yeah, almost kind of like sports therapy.
Absolutely. But as far as like the leagues go, so we have they're called our A's. They compete in the Midwest Sled Hockey League. And then we also have a B travel team that competes in the Pacific Sled Hockey League. But those basically look like we travel once a month during the season, usually play 4 or 5 games in a weekend. And then you add up points up until the final championship weekend. It's
Damn, 4 or 5 games in a weekend? Damn.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's can be extremely exhausting, especially with depending on the year, you have 1 or 2 subs, maybe.
Wow.
So it can be an exhausting weekend, but totally worth it.
Oh, absolutely. Kind of gives that old adage to that old stupid joke, like, "Oh boy, my arms are tired. I just flew in here." Like, "Oh yeah, motherfucker, I just played 4 or 5 games of sled hockey within 2 days. Give me a break."
That's right. I thought your joke was funny, Cody.
Oh, sorry. I'm not as funny as I think I am sometimes. So normally, so basically, Pierce, like when you're building your teams, you kind of just like scout a lot of people just through the camps that you've gone to and stuff.
Yeah, good question. Anyone can. We college sled hockey prides itself on being inclusive, so we don't care what your level is. We want to find you a place to play. So what we do is we go to different. We usually tag on to different adaptive sports events, like ski spec, up rec, and then we do some stuff with the NSCD,
Nice.
and um, basically just try to get as many people as we can on the ice in an hour, hour and a half, and then if they love it, try to follow up with them and have them stick with it. That can be challenging with those events because people are coming from out of state. But in that situation, we want to connect them with their local team because the whole point is to grow the game. We would love if they were playing for us, but we'll settle for them playing with their local team.
Oh yeah, and then
Definitely.
maybe further down the line when you're playing a tournament, you're playing that guy that you kind of like kind of helped along. So that's gotta be kind of cool, see guys that actually stuck with it.
Yeah, that's I think that it's a super rewarding feeling, but even more so when you get a youth who's nervous about trying it for the first time, and then they're like about to get off the ice, and they just have that giant smile, and then seeing them like years down the road, it's like, okay, this is
Oh yeah, man.
cool.
Oh,
You touch that guy's life a lot.
Oh,
or,
that's
or a
awesome.
girl, sorry. I mean, that is such a great feeling to be able to do as a human to other people, I think. Just bring light into their world that way. Oh man.
Yeah.
That must be awesome.
Oh yeah, and which actually brings me to my next question. Like, is let's talk about coaching a little bit. I mean, I didn't even know that you're a coach. Like, how did you kind of get into the coaching and kind of maybe shed some light on that?
Yeah. So Coach Lazan, Justin, he was involved in the program in the early 2000s, and then he left, came back when I was a teenager, and actually he ended up staying with me and my family for a couple of years, just due to life circumstances. And through there, we would watch hockey together, and we'd talk the game, and he'd even show me like the game in the 70s versus the Philly, the Fly. Cannot talk.
Oh
The
yeah.
Soviets. That was one of his favorite games, so he showed me that. And then through there, we started talking about how coaching is a lot of like on the ice stuff is important, but off the ice, how you're helping your athletes develop in all aspects of their life is important. And through there, I realized I had a natural affinity for being in the peer support role, and I have a passion for it. So, got my level 1 when I turned 18, and then just been trying to improve myself every year and just try to be a role model.
That's awesome, man. And I'm guessing that's probably one of the best parts about it too. Is really kind of shedding a new light on these kids. Like giving them like something great to look forward to and do.
Oh yeah. Well, that, and I have a question too. Like, did you use any of the notes and anecdotes that he kind of taught you throughout his coaching career, that you still kind of just pass on down to these kids nowadays? Just some things that you can't let go because they're just good, just, tried and true ways to do that you saw, or did you kind of go on your own regimen with coaching?
Yeah, good question. As far as on the ice stuff goes, I am. He was definitely more reserved, and I just can't not keep my mouth shut.
You're in good company.
But off the ice, definitely, he always echoed being transparent about how you're feeling, either physical or in your mental health. And so I try to bring that to my players because I know there's a culture of playing through pain, but with youth, I do not want them risking their future for just a practice. So definitely being honest and communicating what's going on.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's a huge sentiment too. I mean, I feel like that's kind of what differences from a good coach to a great coach.
Yeah, you have to be firm and reassuring. I feel in your ways, inside and outside the locker room.
Well, truly care too, and
yeah.
really have a mind for not just this is just a game.
Exactly.
This is just a game. You've got a whole life to live, and if anything changes that, then we, obviously, just to echo what you said, you don't want to, screw your life up for just one practice or something.
I think we got a lot of good sound bites from Pierce to cut up and use as an argument for getting funding, for getting people to rinks, because clearly this goes beyond just people needing a ride to go play a sport.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just going back to kind of like what we were talking about earlier is that, hockey really isn't just a sport. It really kind of grows inside your mind and really takes a hold of you and acts as like a therapeutic or, a mind clearing activity that people really come to need.
And at least that's what it should be for people. And it sounds to me like if I was a player looking for a coach, someone like Pierce would really afford me that opportunity. And that's great because sports should be welcoming in that respect too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure, Pierce, you can agree with me that you love hearing the backstories of all these kids and just how they've, have either risen up to great players or just their personality wise, just if they're, just your, average Joe players or whatnot, and they just end up in the sled hockey somehow. But
yeah, I love comparing where players start both in those skills and where they're at say with making friends or things like that, or how outgoing they are, or how they self-advocate for their needs. And then watching them after a season, it's day and night because we give them that environment where, like I said before, they're supported, but also we're going to challenge you and you're going to go as far as you can carry yourself.
Yeah, so you can actually really find yourself within that kind of chance. I mean, that's kind of like with me. I mean, when I started playing hockey, I was this kind of shy, kind of doughy little kid that really just kind of, I don't know, just I mean, I wouldn't say went with the flow, just like let the flow kind of wash over me, but it felt like when I started playing hockey, it really did give me that chance to really kind of find my own voice, not only on the ice, but in real life, and find a confidence that I didn't really have. And I gotta say, from what you're saying there, Pierce, is that this is really kind of double for them, because you're living with disabilities. It's you are kind of like just pushed off to the left of the center, either because you can't actually play sports, or somebody's like, rather than actually get to know you or talk to you, they just kind of throw pity on you, and they just kind of move on. And so in this aspect, it's really it really gives them a chance to be around people, and have not only them show them the real them to people, but learn who they really are at the same time.
Yeah, that's a great point. I have a friend who she's not into sports, but she always echoes the importance of community. And I think that's what hockey gives you, beyond just basically being that token you were talking about.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's one thing that I think all of us preach really hard is hockey is a community, and like a brother slash sisterhood, And hearing about this is absolutely lovely. I'm brimming with like just I don't know. It's incredible to hear about, and I love that. I love the fact that is going on here.
I'd like to add something really quickly about it too, about like how sport brings these, helps people develop new skills on and off the ice. I also, through my personal life right now, I'm now in work in more of a leadership role, and I don't have work experience in leadership roles, but I seem to be doing okay with the leadership that I've been handed. And I know it's because I'm tapping into some of the skills of leadership that I learning how to be a leader on a hockey team growing up. And so I want to just state that, what's awesome about what we're saying is we're seeing how these are immediate, long, like really impactful effects right now. But as you get older, you'll discover that what it gives you is a lot through your life later on too, that will come to your benefit later in life that you didn't expect. So
well said. Yeah, I completely agree. Keith?
Awesome, man. I just wanted to touch a little bit on the equipment for sled hockey.
Oh yeah.
Say for someone, that's listening right now that wants to get into sled hockey, but unsure of what kind of equipment they might need. Obviously, I would suppose the sled is probably one of the most important pieces of equipment that you need. I guess my question is there different type of sleds? Or is there maybe a certain sled that a beginner should use as opposed to someone that has played, for already 5-6 years? And besides the sleds, I know you guys use 2 sticks. And then is there anything else that you might need if you wanted to get started?
Yeah, good question. So as far as beginner sled versus advanced sled goes, we normally recommend beginners they're like adjustable sleds. So like you can move the bucket back, or you can move the footrest forward. Basically every piece you can change. That's just to get your desired playing position down. And then once you've played for 5 years, we do say to get your own equipment. But most organizations should have a sled that you can just try. And then from there, you can, sleds run about $750 for a new one.
Wow.
Oh my.
Expensive. I actually try and fundraise that every year just so one player can get in a sled, which I think it's crazy expensive. But
It's
And
still
then
good on
mentioned-
you doing that, though.
You mentioned sticks. There's you definitely see a difference in players who've been playing a long time and newbies, where newbies have these, they're awful. They're like these wooden sticks, but they're cheap and you can buy them in bulk, and they have a really thin blade and it is really hard to stick handle, but it's great for just getting people used to the feeling of sleds. And then when you're more advanced, you usually get some carbon fiber sticks. You know the length your sticks are cut at, and that's something we try to echo with the youth as well. Is learn how to take care of your gear. So if your stick breaks, make sure you have extras, things like that. But really, you could play with sticks and a sled and make sure you have your brain bucket. But other than that, I feel confident putting somebody on the ice.
The brain bucket. I love it. And that's another thing. Like, where do you normally go to get gear?
Yeah, so we are we go to Pure Hockey a lot. We, as the organization, we get a lot of donations from able-bodied hockey teams, or like teams that are practicing at the same ice. They're like, hey, we're not going to use these. Here you go, which is great. And then we've been fortunate in the past, and Avs players have bought us like all new helmets, which, as you know, helmets expire. So that's definitely needed.
Oh, absolutely. Are there like manufacturers of like, sleds or specific hockey sticks? Are you guys just taking a like a snapped twig and just cutting it down?
Good question. So most of the main stick manufacturers make sled hockey sticks now. I have
That's cool.
a pair of Eastons, and then I also have a pair of Warriors. And then as far as sleds go, there's really two main people in the game. You have mobility sports, and then you have unique inventions, and they're up in, I forget where they are in Canada, but they're up there. And for a lot of like clinics and new sleds, we go to mobility, and then for more permanent type sleds, we go to unique.
Cool, man. Oh, I didn't know it. Yeah, I didn't know Easton or Warrior were making sled hockey sticks. That's freaking sweet.
Yeah. It was a great thing to see these big companies start doing more of these DEI initiatives by choosing to get involved with more of that. So,
Oh, incredibly so.
Which more companies should get involved with that. That's huge. That is very huge.
One more question on the gear. Goalies. Do goalies have a different type of sled or anything like that, or is it essentially similar to what a normal player would have?
Oh wow, Keith's coming up with a goalie question. What a surprise.
I'm not an expert on goalies, but I will try. I know it's a different sled, but I don't know how. Besides, instead of blades, they have basically plexiglass, so that they can slide post to post.
Okay.
Oh wow, yeah.
That's interesting.
And then they have the catcher's mitt, but what they do is they like cannibalize a sneaker from like soccer, and they sew it on the back of the glove so
Okay.
that they can still catch and use it as a pick on the ice.
Oh.
And then the goalie stick actually has it's like a curved pick, so that they can use that to push off as well.
okay.
So when you're saying like a cannibalized like catching glove, I'm picturing like a metal kind of cleats from like baseball on the back side of it almost in a sense.
Yeah, they're basically just taking the tracks off of that and then putting it on a regular goalie glove.
Okay.
Oh, that's fucking cool.
So
That's-
don't get in fights with sled hockey goalies unless they drop the gloves.
Right. Allegedly.
Well, all right. That actually leads me to my next question. Have you has there been a fight? You know, have you ever witnessed a fight or been in a fight?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
You're not supposed to USA Hockey and you get ejected. But yeah, there's been multiple fights I can think about. I try not to. I usually I don't start them, but people.
You don't stop them either.
He's the finisher.
You don't stop them, but you sure do finish them. That's what I'm talking about, Pierce. That's awesome, man. Oh, dude, that's
I like
great.
how we totally finished his answer for him. He's like, no, I'm even better than
No,
that.
I'm a nice guy, but know what you were saying, Pierce.
So how many do you think actually really kind of go down? I mean, is it kind of a normal thing, or is it a little less known and seen?
If there's a fight, it is not your typical NHL one-on-one fight. It is usually like bench clearing.
Oh,
So I can think of there might be one on YouTube still.
Still, the lawsuit for that one hasn't happened yet.
And I can think of 3 or 4 and just people coming off the bench, and just because you play the same teams year in year out and you're all tired, you're playing games back to back.
you just build that animosity and that hatred for years.
Absolutely.
That's awesome, man. That's incredible. Boys, what else? I know I got one more to close it out.
Well, you close out with yours, and then I'll close out with mine. How about that?
You'll piggyback my closeout,
and then
eh?
I'll
We'll
have
see
to
what you
do a
close out with.
correction after you guys do a double closey.
Oh, you looked that up?
Yes, actually,
cool.
or I can do it right now.
No, we'll
Okay.
finish. We'll finish. So, Pierce, what I really want to ask you, man, let's kind of jump up in the air, kind of look down above on all this. Like, where do you think you'd be without hockey now, as opposed to now? How do you feel with hockey after looking back on all these years doing, learning how to playing, and then coaching, and what's the big thing that you take away from the game?
Yeah. Man, that is always my 3 a.m. question to myself. I would definitely be less independent. I would not feel confident. Just because traveling was such a huge part of hockey, I don't think I would have the same amount of confidence traveling out of the country or even going to college and advocating for myself at a job. I don't think I would have nearly the amount of skills if I had never participated in hockey.
Wow.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I think you basically answered the question I was going to ask you to kind of finish this out.
Boom, sucker.
But maybe you have something else to add. But what I was going to ask you was, going back to, earlier when we talked, and you were saying about seeing your neighbors playing hockey, and you're just kind of like, shit, I want to play, and you just didn't have the opportunity to do it. But now moving forward, you are playing hockey, and you obviously experienced so many cool memories through hockey. When someone says the word hockey, what does it mean to you?
When someone says hockey, it means few different words to me. It means family, it means competition, and just like elation. There's not really many areas of my life where I get to experience just shutting off my brain, and the ice does that for me. And I think that's an important outlet for anyone to find.
That's awesome, man.
Amen, brother. Amen.
I think that's a awesome closing right there.
Oh, absolutely.
The meaning of hockey, man.
Pierce, that was fucking beautiful, man. All right, so Ross, we have an
update. I consulted the Oracle, and he was the first German-born player to win the Hart Trophy.
Leon
not the
Draisaitl.
Ted Lindsay.
Not the Ted Lindsay.
Okay.
No, I thought it was the Ted Lindsay, but yeah, he won too. So, I mean, pat on the back, pat on the butt.
People probably listening to this has already Googled it. They probably didn't fucking wait till the end. Like, oh,
No.
yeah, they're like just looking it up. Like, even if they really care. I'll tell you what, Pierce. Thank you so much for joining us, man. It was extremely eye-opening and fucking incredible to talk to you. And I feel like I think everybody came away with a bright perspective on the game of hockey, and I just want to say thank you so much for doing that. And damn, man, I can't really say much else. Like, boys, what do you got?
No, nothing, man. It just you learn something new every time we have conversation with all these people, and it's amazing, man. It just gives a whole different perspective of hockey, you know. There's just so many different aspects of it, you know, and different ways that people look at it. So it's just cool, man. That's all I got, really.
I just want to add to that by saying it's nice to talk to somebody who can not only offer his perspective, but also has been thinking about some practical ways that we can all help make change for the better. And I appreciated what you had to say about some potential solutions and ways that we can all get involved. I think it's important to know that there's services out there to take advantage of, and also there's services that you can take advantage of by being more involved with. So
Agreed.
Thank you
Absolutely.
very much, Pierce, for what you had to talk to us about today, because I feel like talking to you some more, we'd learn even more. And so I just appreciate what you're doing for the hockey community as well.
Oh, yeah. Well said. What do you got, Ross?
No, I've just been loving with the blind hockey player. I mean, we got at Pierce right now. I mean, it's just been an eye-opening experience, just to learn these different facets. And just as Keats and Daniel both said, just you learn something new every time we talk to these guys. And you think it's just something, easy, basic, but no, there's so much that goes into that. And I mean, my hat's off to you, Pierce, and everybody else who has disabilities that, use them to their abilities. And, I mean, it's just an amazing thing to just see that happen.
Pierce, would you like to send any shout outs before we sign off with this beast?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you guys for shining a light on the different disciplines. Glad to be here, and just want to say last October 23rd, please come out and try sled hockey.
And where's that? Where's that going to be?
It'll be at the Ice Ranch down in Littleton, and it'll be 8:15 to 9:15.
PM or AM?
AM. Look on our Facebook page for the sign up.
Oh, sweet, man. Yeah, and we'll throw Colorado Sled Hockey up on the promo and everything. And like I said, Pierce, so incredible to have you. Thank you so much. Had a fun time, and we'd love to have you back on here real soon.
Yeah, would love to.
Cool. And we just want to send shout outs to My Beer Nation app. They are the ones that always bring us our incredible hats, pins, and stickers. And thank you to everyone who are buying hats and supporting us. That goes a long way for us to bring you guys a better show. So thank you so much to everyone grabbing a couple of those or whatever. So just want to say thank you to them and the listeners. Boys, what you got?
Man, you basically said everything people need to know. The only thing I'll add is, guys, we got some new videos up on YouTube. Please check those out. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed on YouTube yet. And as always, if you have a minute, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to your podcasts. It will really help us to make this thing bigger.
We like to read nice things people say to us. And honestly, if you got something negative to say, I'd really like to. Or
especially
you know
in Swedish.
What? Leave me.
Especially, jag kan tala svenska, så skriva en utvisning.
Here's what I can recommend of the haters, I will say. Give us a 5-star, but you can tell us what you don't like, and we'll work on it. I promise you.
Sounds good. I think I'm looking forward to the jerseys on the bench episodes that have come out. We got your dad on one of them.
Pappy Sanders.
We got our
Pappy Sanders on
our
the
good
second
friend,
one. Yeah.
Todd Sawatsky. Back with another TSA telling us about jerseys, and there's another one coming on Jersey Cares, like how to take care of your jerseys or how to upcycle the next one. But
Upkeep
it sounds like maybe on October 23rd there's going to be a Jerseys on the Bench episode of GoPro footage of Cody in a sled hockey.
Oh man, that'd be fucking cool, eh?
Yeah, so maybe we can start working on that and give people what it's like to be on that bench.
Yeah, Pierce, we would love it if you joined us on that video, if we could make it happen.
Oh, absolutely. I signed both.
Oh, beautiful.
Now, Cody, now you have to do it, man.
Right.
Wow, hey man, I'm fine.
This is locked in, and we're making it happen.
We're just gonna ratchet down a bunch of GoPros on him or whatnot, Daniel.
Definitely.
We'll do whatever we need to do.
We'll have a drone above them
tie
too.
Fuck
and
it.
just duct tape.
Yeah,
We don't care.
Yeah, if you can't duck it, fuck it. Well, boys, I think that's a wrap up. Ross, you got anything you want to add?
No, just appreciate all of our guests and all of our listeners for coming on, just shooting the shit with us and even listening. As Geet said, just definitely any feedback that we can get is more of a help than a hurt. So let us know, good or bad. So, but that's about it. Love you all, though.
Yeah, we love you all, and Vihorsh.
Till next time.
A bientôt.
Peace.